Linda Pringle Evans, your host, and it is a beautiful day. It's always a beautiful day when we can come together as women and empower one another. And not only simply empower one another, but to really strengthen one another so that, ladies, we can live well. We can live life according to what our goals are, our goals, not the goals that someone else has set for us, but for ourselves. So I am excited about today's topic because it is, it's the third Thursday of the month, and we always have our WomeNomics Be Fit Financial Diva with us. And that is the one and only Ms. Michele Von Hoven. Welcome, Michele. I am so excited to have you here today because of this very impactful topic, which is the GPS to empower her money. Ladies, you are in for a treat because you are going to hear what that empower truly means for your plan, for your life, for the goals that you set, and in addition, to empower her money to live well and retire secure. Did you hear that word? Secure. And that's what we want. We want to see more women to retire and have security and not worry about money. But before we get started, as always, it's important for me to acknowledge Pringle Business Consulting, because if it wasn't for Pringle, we would not be hosting this particular episode. And what Pringle does is about being branded with the perception that you want to get out into the world about who you are, what you do, how you are different from your competition. We help you to have that competitive advantage that is going to help you to quantum leap your business to the next dimension. That's who we are, and that's what we do. If you want to learn more, just simply visit pringlebusinessconsulting.com. Now, before Michele comes and starts sharing empower with you ladies, some of you may not be aware or know anything about Michele. So I just want to give to you some information about this phenomenal woman. As I stated, Michele Von Hoven is a retirement income certified professional. She's a financial fiduciary. She's a registered investment advisor. She's also Louisiana civil law notary and a certified money mentor. She is president and founder of Be Fit Financially LLC, a holistic financial and wealth management firm, and founder of the Women's Financial Solutions Network. So as you can see, this lady really knows her stuff when it comes to us as women and money. She's also the creator of the Be Fit Financially system, the Women's Ultimate Guide to the financially savvy and significant life to live well now and retire securely. And she has an upcoming book with the same name, and that book's name is The Women's Ultimate Guide to be financially savvy and significant, to live well now and to retirement. I think I finally said it correctly. So if I didn't, please excuse me, Michele, because I'm having difficulty with my eyesight, but soon we should have this resolved. She has been transforming lives and turning people's dreams and goals into reality for over, ladies, 30 years. Michele is an award-winning and best-selling author of the book, Ignite Your Life to Wealth, Health, and Success, which she co-authored with Brian Tracy, and was named as America's premier expert and thought leader for her commitment to empowering women with her savvy financial strategies and wealth management. So, ladies, as always, here at WomeNomics, we only want the best for you, and we bring you the best. So here she is, the one, the only, the phenomenal Ms. Michele Von Hoven. Welcome, Michele.
Wow, thank you, Linda. You're always so gracious with your introduction. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you being here and you having the show and having me on it. So it's quite a privilege for me. So thank you. And we are here to empower her money so women can live well and retire secure. And I just want to throw out one little quick statistic, and that is there was a study done by Transamerica Retirement Services that 62% of women reported that they are guessing at their retirement savings needs. So this is, while we, there are 38% of women that are doing it, which is roughly a third, there's 2/3 of women who aren't. So, we want to get this out there. And this is our second part of the series of the GPS of the Empower. I put together a system to try and make it clear with integrity for real results without all the noise that's out there, because it's deafening us. The noise is deafening us. So last session we did the Empower. The GPS is to empower. So just spell out the word empower, EMPOWER. And last time, Linda, you did it so good, it was almost like a rap song. We got the E, the M, and the P. So we did the E, the M, and the P, which was to envision, and I'm going to do the shortcut. So go look at the last session. It was envision and enrich and educate yourself. The M was to mind map your money, because a lot of this starts from the inside out. Yes. I mean, real wealth creation. I mean, if you don't have it on the inside correct, and you have limiting beliefs, so you have different biases and things that are holding you back. So we really map the money, the mission of your money, to your values-based goals. So that's the M. And the P is the power of the plan. You must have a plan, because if you don't have a written, holistic retirement plan, life goals plan, if it's not in writing and it's not holistic, you're somewhat throwing darts at a board with blinders on. So that's why it's so important to have the system. So that's the power of the plan. Everything should be done with a holistic plan. And we do have a one-page plan that I've developed that's helped a lot of women just to get them started. It's a great starting point. For some people, it might be their finishing point, but it does cover all the necessary areas. So the power of the plan. So once we do our plan and we've covered all, the what, the why, the hows, then you have to go into the O of empower, and that is to optimize your opportunities. So the plan design says this is what you need to do. Now, how do you do it? What tools do you use besides the plan itself? What do you do to optimize? Well, there's a plethora of products and programs out there. There's everything from a stock portfolio with bonds, customized portfolio, to mutual funds, to certain annuities, to commodities, to ETFs, real estate, collectibles. It's not just limited to stocks and bonds. It's just not. And a lot of people want to make you think that, because maybe that's their business platform. So you have to know that there's more opportunities out there. And, it was interesting. I just had a discussion with a gentleman who I've known for 30 years, who's big in the investment industry. And he told me that he's with a group of people, of 6,000 advisors. And you know what they advise on? Only mutual funds and insurance. It's it. That's their whole focus. They don't do anything else. They don't do a plan. They don't do any of that. And he gave me a very nice compliment. I'm not going to say it. That sounds too bold, but he was very complimentary to me. And it just kind of, brought back to light that, yeah, not everybody does it, like the way I do it, or the way, that I've seen other people do. Or if you go to the bank, they don't give you a plan. They just say, oh, you have this extra money, let's go put it in here. So that's one area. But if you know what all the opportunities are there, and understand your aversions to risk and losses, because everybody has a different feeling. There's a risk tolerance level, and you say, oh, I'm okay if I lose 10% or 20%. But what I find is that when you go looking for those opportunities, you really need to know what that means in dollars and cents, because a lot of those risk tolerances just say, oh, so let's say I'm okay with losing 20%. Well, if you have $1 million, 20% is $200,000. So now you're down to 800. That's a big chunk of money.
Michele.
Yes, ma'am.
Allow me to share some information, and I think this will really help codify the information that you're sharing with women, so that they truly understand the significance of that plan, meeting with someone like you to have that plan, so that her money will outlive her, for she will not run out of money. Okay. So I just want to, if you don't mind, I just want to share what I saw from an article within AARP, and it says, women in retirement. Poverty hits women in retirement harder than men. For example, the average Social Security benefit is a modest $1,555 a month. Among retirees who draw Social Security benefits, 42% of women get more than 50% of their income from Social Security, compared with 37% of men. Now, 15% of women rely on Social Security for 90% of their income, compared with 12% for men. So ladies, what Michele is sharing with you is not just for her to have you to reach out to her to become a client. This is not what she is doing. This is not what WomeNomics is about. This is truly a movement to help women become positioned to age well with financial freedom. And this is why I chose Michele Von Hoven as our financial diva, because she can help you get it done. And let me say this, the sooner you start, the better off you will be later on in life. So Michele, I'm sorry, I just had to share this because I want women to take this seriously. I do, because you're talking about your livelihood, your life. And that's how I want you to start thinking about this. This is your life, ladies, okay? So Michele, take it away. I'm sorry.
No, but that's perfect. No, I'm glad you brought that up. It's very important that it's factual, and a lot of women say, well, gee, I wonder why there's that difference, and we may have gone through this in another session just to really, hop in on that. But it's because women are out of the workforce for so many years, like myself. I was out of it raising my son, and then I had a private business where I wasn't contributing as much. So I was really out of the workforce at least 6 years or so. So women do not have as much going into retirement, nor is it going into Social Security. And then women are the majority, 9 out of 10 women that are caregivers, or rather caregivers are 9 out of 10 are women. And then when they're getting out of that care position, they're not getting paid. I actually met with one of our local senators and a state, one of the senators, I don't remember, I'm not going to mention his name, but I mentioned to him about women and the fact that they're out as caregivers, and is there something that can be proposed to help women, whether it's to whatever it is, we really haven't, gotten right down to it, but there needs to be something to help them, whether they get some kind of a credit off some of their other income to help them. Maybe these thoughts can, has to go through a round table, but something has to be done. And I'm no stranger to being an advocate, because many years ago, actually it was in the mid-90s, and that was, I went to Washington, D.C. to advocate for the increase in the spousal IRA. Now a non-working spouse can contribute just as much as a working spouse if that working spouse has the income. But, years ago, you're not going to believe this, but what's an IRA now? It's $5,000. And years ago when it was $2,000, the only thing a spouse could contribute was $250. And I thought, well, gee, that's not fair. It wasn't right. And so I had to go through like 3 rounds. We had meetings to go. I went to Washington, met with a bunch of the senators there, proposed the idea. They liked it. They kicked it around. And eventually it did get put in to Congress, and President George H.W. Bush did sign it into Congress. So, we need advocates out there that understand the dollars and cents. So I stress how important it is to get a good advisor, that's somebody that thinks outside the box, and, we'll take that quantum leap for you. And I'll go back to this because, we did the E, the M, the P. I just did the O. Now we're going to talk about the W, which is the wealth creation. And that's winning the money game. It really is a game, but it's not a guessing game. I say that all the time. So it ties into the study with Transamerica. And the reason I say it's not a guessing game, and I think I said this in another session, I had a client, a gentleman, who put in the title of the subject of an email, my guessing game. And it just floored me that this man had a broker with one of the big brokerage houses for over 10 years. He was like, 3 years to retirement, and he's playing a guessing game. And it just like, boom, hit me. So I say, it is not a guessing game, because if you think it is, I promise you, you will lose. And I don't know if that's a gambit you really want to take. So the biggest word rather, in wealth creation is choice. Choice of what you do with your money, how you save it, how you spend it, how you invest it. We have choices of what we do. That's all you can do it with money. You can make it, you can save it, or you can spend it. And that's it. So how you do it. Now you need to know how to make the money work harder for you than you do for it within your risk tolerance and aversion constraints. That's so important. And don't ever let anyone say, oh, we can go get you this X amount or that X amount. Because I promise you, when you come down to it, and if there's more loss there and somebody tries to get you to go more aggressive against what you want, that's not how it should be. The person should listen to you. And that is a big issue, big, huge issue I've heard over and over again from women in particular, is that the advisors are not listening to women. And men and women advisors, listen up, listen to the women, because we are controlling 80% of all the purchases in the, in the country. And we have not only the generational change in wealth, but the gender change to women. So women need to understand what to do with that money. And in my book that's coming out, I wrote a story of one of my clients who was a nurse practitioner married to a gentleman. They were married for over 30 years. They had 7 children, and they got divorced. And she was floored because that generation didn't get, not as much divorce in there. And so the broker that her husband had the money with when she got her settlement was one of the old boys kind of firms. And he told the lady, he said, and these were his words, and I wrote just exactly like this in the book, honey, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of everything. Well, when I looked at the portfolio for her and knew the position she was in, now that she's on her own, they sold the house. She was in an apartment where she hadn't been in an apartment. I don't believe this lady had ever lived in an apartment in her life. So here she's in an apartment. She's got to take care of all her affairs, and this money's got to last. now this money has to last, because she was not working as much. She was going, just semi-retiring and going down. He had her in positions that were what the husband wanted. Now, the husband made double the money she made. So it was a different scenario for him than it was for her. But he had her in highly aggressive things like partnerships in oil and gas and airplanes, and that these partnerships didn't, you couldn't just go and say, hey, I need $10,000 out of them. They can only do it when they make a distribution. So anyway, it wasn't suitable for her at all. Yet he was going to leave it all in the same thing that the husband had until she met with me. And she was a very religious lady. She was referred to me someone who was, another client of mine I knew. And I really felt it was my mission to help this lady. It was such a bad situation, but I was able to help her, and we moved it out. Not to say he didn't call her back and try to, convince her that she was doing the wrong thing. Well, we don't want to get in that kind of debate, but you just have to remember it's your money. So you have to make the wise choices that, okay, now it's you. You may be on your own, but you're not alone if you have a very good holistic advisor. So understanding how money works and wealth creation, and as I said earlier, the opportunities, that there are many, and you need diverse opportunities. The old saying, not all your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
So that's the wealth part, the W. And now we'll go on to the E of empower, which is to execute and evaluate. Mm-hmm. So now you're going to execute your plan. You're going to execute the opportunities and see how they fit into your plan. And then you're going to evaluate it, 6 months or a year, at least annually. And how is it working for your long-term goals, your short-term goals, midterm? Are you on target to where you feel? Do you need to make some course corrections? Because even though you do a plan, it's not going to stay static. It will not stay the same. Your life's not static, and your life's not linear. It doesn't go from point A to point Z, I say, in 1 second. It just doesn't. And so if you're confident with your plan, that, and in your execution and your reviewing of it, then you're not going to get the anxiety and the worry that we're seeing by a lot of people in the news media, especially now in these uncertain times. We've had so much volatility. We have so much happening between the economy, the geopolitical issues. I mean, it's just, they all come and they go boom, And so right now, I believe we are already in a recession. I mean, we are there.
Me too.
And people don't want to say it, but when they do, when the news media finally does say it, they're working on, because that's what's called a lagging indicator in economics. And that means that is information that they digest, and as to what happened, just like the consumer price index is a lagging indicator of what happened the month before. So they take those lagging indicators and they bring them to today, but yet it's already past us, you see. So what are the leading indicators? What are really happening? Earnings reports from companies. There's some really, really good companies out there. They're not all, going bad. Although, again, the media wants you to think that, because guess what? They don't keep you attached to the news. They don't make money, and that's how they do sell ads. So you need to get your own information. And so look at your evaluation. Do you need to rebalance? Right now, the status quo of all advisors, not all, majority, stay where you are, stay where you are. Okay. What does that mean, stay where you are? Well, I say stand by your plan. That may not mean stay where you are. It may mean course correct. We might need some corrections here. We might need to make some adjustments, because here's why. I reviewed a portfolio the other day, and the person this was unbelievable to me, like 75% of the money was put in aggressive positions. This was in their employer retirement plan. And they had to choose from the menu inside the employer plan. And then they changed the plan, the lady told me, to put them in a managed account, which means they pay more fees.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, how did you manage? She said, I don't know, I just got a letter and they said they put me in this managed account. I said, well, what have they done to manage it? I said, nobody, I don't think on this planet wants 75% of their money in all aggressive. And this lady was younger and even she didn't want it. And I was like, well, what can you do? I'm like, it was really tough. I tell you, I felt really, really bad. And she was down like 33% of her, this is all her savings in this retirement plan. Well, no, she has other liquid cash, but as far as investable money, it was all in this one plan. And so it really just still surprises me. I don't know at this point in time, I don't know why I'm surprised, but it just, with all the information out there, but I guess it's called pick and choose. You pick and choose your information. That's why I felt it was so important, Linda. Thank you for having the show and getting this information out to people. And it was so important for me to put together a system that I hope will bring cut out some of cut out most of the noise, yes, and give them a guiding light here, yes, with this GPS. Mm-hmm. So I have one more to go and I'm just going to, jump to it. And that is the R, which is the last one of empower. Remember we did EMPOWER. Now we're on the R. And the R is to retire secure, savvy, and significant.
Yes.
And how do you do that? Well, you've got to have the retirement plan connected to it. And that's the majority. Even if you're in your 20s, mm-hmm, you need to plan for retirement. And as you go into your 30s, so your lifestyle changes. Mm-hmm. 20s, you're just starting out of college or trade school or whatever it is. Your life is just starting and you're having some fun, and you should put that money away for retirement. Then you're in your 30s, you may have, family, starting to raise a family, buying a house. Yes. Even the people in their 20s buying a house, which is great. Mm-hmm. So then your 30s and then your 40s, and you're really in, the career spot in 50s and 60s, and all along you're looking at, that retirement. Yes. And when you get closer to it, and within the last 10 years, whatever that time frame is. So when you're looking at retirement, you have to look at the Social Security, how, the most Social Security can really be bumped up in the last years of your retirement, because that's when you're earning the most, right? Yes. And it can help bump it up. And retirement, Social Security is basically an annuity, is really what it is. You're putting money, and it's your money. And the government's not giving it to you. This is your money. Right. You have put in 7.65% of earnings. Mm-hmm. And then for self-employed people, it's 13.2%. You have to pay both, because see, your employer pays half and then you pay half. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's 6.2% Social Security, and the other 1.35 or 45 goes to Medicare. Mm-hmm. So Social Security, your retirement income, fill the gaps, how much do you need? And then, you're looking at the Medicare and the costs there. So, but it's about getting to that. And retirement is when you're financially independent, which means retirement is affordable, that you can stop working if you want. Now, most people aren't choosing to retire. They want to keep working and keep contributing and growing. And so I hope that just to have, something in your head. And when you say, I want to empower, I need a GPS. What's my GPS? I want to be fit financially, right? But I want to be fit financially to and through retirement. Yes. And so when we look at retiring secure, there's a lot more on that back end there. And one last thing I'll say right now, because I know we're running out of time, but I want to say that a lot of people out in financial planning world say the biggest risk that people have in retirement is that they feel that they'll run out of money.
Mhm.
Well, what I have heard lately from a very distinguished doctor, professor, is Moshe Malavetsky, and he has come up with, and I agree with him wholeheartedly, that now the biggest risk isn't running out of money. The biggest risk is making financial decisions if you're cognitively impaired.
Wow.
Yeah. So think about this.
Wow.
I recently went for my annual checkup, and my young doctor, the OBGYN, she said she was leaving practice as an OB-GYN and going into more of a fitness practice. I said, oh, wow, you align with me, yay. But she said, do you know, she said, I'm seeing more people with dementia. I went, really? I was surprised, Linda.
Yes. I'm not, because I've seen it. Yes.
And so it lined up with Moshe saying, Dr. Malavetsky, I don't know if I say his name right. He's a professor at the University of Toronto, and he's very well renowned. 7 books he has, and brilliant man. But I believe it. And so, yeah, do we want to make decisions on? Could you imagine if you're cognitively impaired right now, and your money's down, and you have a broker that has had you all in a portfolio of stocks, bonds, ETFs, and mutual funds only, and all you have is maybe a little Social Security for your needs, and you've got to go take money out of here, and you don't know where to take it out or how to take it out, and you're just getting more confused, and that leads to elder abuse. And that's a big issue too. So you want to have a plan that's designed that if that you're taking care of the needs and then taking care of the wants. And the last thing I keep saying 3 stages of retirement. There's the go-go years, when you're going, and you want to do more traveling, maybe things you haven't been able to do, or get that RV and drive cross country, and that's the go-go years, right? Then you have, and you're probably a little healthier. And so if somebody average 65, 70, good health, can travel for a long time. And then what my doctor said too is that when the cognitive decline comes more in the 80s, and that's when it'll hit. And then you have the slow go years. So you're going slower, you can't, you just can't go like you did. Maybe you're having health issues and that. Then the 3rd stage of retirement is the no-go years. And you're not really able to go anywhere. Another, good friend, gentleman I knew who was president of a large brokerage firm when I first started out, lovely gentleman. And I had heard he had a stroke, and he's in a facility now. And this man was an avid golfer, tennis player, fit as can be, and such a gentleman. I mean, this man served me dinner on a boat. He was the waiter, and I totally respected him for that. And so, but I heard he's, I said, well, please, his name Jack. I said, please, if Jack even remembers me, I mean, I haven't seen him in a while, but I sure remember him. And I had gone to this particular home office like 16 years in a row. And I said, please tell him hello. And if he remembers, he says, and my friend said, I will. He says, well, we'll see if he if he smiles, if you'll remember, And but it was just so sad to me to think that this gentleman, and I spoke to him about 5 years ago, and I called him, and he picked up the phone right away and spoke with me. So we had a very, very good rapport, even though I had left that firm. Mm-hmm. But the point is, you can be in excellent shape, and then all of a sudden, God forbid, these things happen.
That's right.
So you want to be prepared.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. So we hope that this plan empowers and inspires you, that you can live the life you love and love the life you live. And thank you.
Thank you, Michele, because this GPS system truly can and will impact your life if you take it seriously. Mm-hmm. So, Michele, as always, I want to thank you for being here. You're here every month. And I truly, when I say this, I'm saying it from my heart. I appreciate you so much. You are loved by me and highly respected. Otherwise, I never would have reached out to you. I thank you for this. Ladies, if you need help, even if you don't think you need help, reach out to Michele. Reach out to her and let her give you some guidance, because trust me, as we live, every day is a requirement of money. There is not one day that we are not spending money.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know how to do it and how to manage your money well, even if you think you are managing it well, still reach out to Michele to ensure that you're doing the right things. So Michele, please share how one can reach out to you at any time. And also understand, Michele is certified to work with women across the United States, not just in a particular state, but across the country. So please share how they can contact you.
Yes, Linda, thank you. Well, I'm on LinkedIn, which is a really great way. A lot of people love to connect on LinkedIn. I think it's the best professional way. So
yes,
it's Michele Von Hoven, and it's a V as in Victor, Onhoven, Michele with one L.
yes,
Michele Von Hoven. So LinkedIn is great, or you can contact me through my website, which is michele@befitfinancially.com.
mm-hmm.
So that's Michele at befit, BEFIT, financially, FINANCIALLY.com. So I want to say that, reach out if you come and subscribe to our mail list. We're going to be, hopefully this book will be coming out hopefully very soon. We can let you know what's going on. We're going to be putting out more tips and information, valuable information, everything from the beginning of the plan, to the values, the visions, the velocity, versatility of your foundation, to the GPS, to the Befititudes. And hopefully, Linda, we can do the Befititudes next month, because those are the galvanizing, healthy, wealthy attitudes to keep you BeFit financially so you can live well and retire secure.
Absolutely. So that will be our topic for next month. Perfect. So as always, ladies, this is for you. WomeNomics is for you. It is for us, so that we are educated with the information that we need to live and have that significant, savvy, secured financial life that we desire and deserve. That's the other. You deserve it. So I want to end by simply saying this. Throughout this entire session with Michele, this is what I heard. Women, own your power. Women, own your power. Don't give it away to somebody else. Own it. And that's what we're doing here at WomeNomics. We are owning our power. So as always, thank you. We love you. We want the best for you. And until next time, here's to your success. Goodbye.